It is a great pleasure to have your company for all of the action from the 2025 FISU World University Games Summer. The setting is the Messe Essen Hall 3. You're watching Rhein-Ruhr 2025 and the artistic gymnastics competitions. Men's qualification subdivision 3 is our last order of business today. There are 6 subdivisions in total in the men's team final, which also doubles as qualification for all of the individual finals. So the best of fortune to all of these athletes. We've got 4 teams coming up and 2 nations who have enough gymnasts to compete as a team, but will not be putting up a sufficient number of routines on each apparatus to have their scores count in the team competition. Because you need to think about 5-4-3 in the men's team competition. You can have a maximum of 5 gymnasts in your team. You can have 4, as the Brazilians have. Only 3 routines will count, but you must do 3 in each of the rotations. We have the Philippines there with only 3 gymnasts, for example. They won't be performing 3 times in each of the 6 rotations. New Zealand certainly will be. They've brought a squad of 5 to these games, and the Danes also will be competing as a team. So best of fortune to all of them as they look, and the Belgians, to secure their place as high up the leaderboard as possible and in the individual finals. 5-strong Belgian squad. Belgium, Brazil, the Philippines, New Zealand, Denmark and Hong Kong, China competing in the men's qualification subdivision 3, rotation number 1 about to get started. Yes, it is going to be wonderful entertainment, and it's wonderful to have your company wherever in the world you are watching the action from and whoever you're supporting at these games. A sporting principle to bring together that which is elite academically and that which is elite physically, and the crossover point, the mental resolve that these athletes have, the understanding of things like sports psychology, of sports science, but also subjects that are far beyond their own experience as athletes. We have people at these games who are studying the traditional old professions of universities in days gone by, those who wish to be medics, those who wish to enter the legal profession, those who wish to teach. We have those who are doing things that are vocational, that are very different from their lives as athletes. We have fashion designers. We have people who are hugely skilled in aerospace engineering. We have everything, including some very exciting gymnastics to come. That axiom again, 5-4-3, always worth thinking about. 5 gymnasts maximum in your team, 4 perform on each apparatus as a maximum, but you can have only 3 perform. 3 scores will count. If you only put 3 gymnasts up, then you don't have the luxury of discarding your weakest score. It does increase the pressure somewhat. Now, there are some gymnasts here, such as those from the Philippines, like Colin Stenger, those from Hong Kong, China, like Wong Yuk Lam, who are specialists in a particular apparatus, in their cases the rings and the horizontal bar. They will not be participating with a team. They will simply be doing their very best to get into the individual finals that come later on in these games. If it all sounds a touch on the complicated side, we'll cover it again and again and again as we go through, but for now we can just sit back and enjoy some artistic gymnastics from the Messe Essen Hall 3. We're having a look over the shoulder of Eric Troutwijn of the Brazilian team, and he's the youngest member of their team. What a way to start, eh? Pommel horse for the teenager, the only teenager in the squad. These are the interesting moments just before it starts. What's in the mind of those athletes? What's their own process? Because every athlete has their own process. they like to block it all out? Do they like to take it all in? Do they like to visualise the routine? Do they like to empty their head and think of nothing? What would you do? What would your process be? The time for process is over. The time for performance begins. Erik Trautwein represents Paulista University, or the Universidad Estadual Paulista. He's a little bit piked in the midsection early on, which is understandable. Still developing his craft in this apparatus, but he's getting a nice sense of Magyar Shivado swingfulness. Leg separation was well controlled. He'll lose some tenths for that, but nothing too much. Oh, come on, fight it. Well done. Very well done. That was a great effort to get up and hit that dismount, because it looked as though he was going to come down completely. Well done, that young man. That was impressive toughness physically and toughness of character, because he was clipping the pommels themselves on a few occasions. He will get quite a few execution deductions, but nothing as egregious as if he'd actually come off the apparatus, so job well done. Sao Paulo State University, one of the top-ranked universities in the whole of the Latin American world. 26 hours it's taken for the New Zealand team to get to this venue. Good luck to them. Logan Curtis, he will get them underway. He's the reigning national champion on this apparatus, so a good place to begin. Goes into the L position well. Jonassen to Yamawaki. Very nice. This is a well-controlled start. And a well-controlled landing. Well, that's pretty well spot on. What a nice beginning from Logan Curtis from the Victoria University of Wellington. He will be attempting all-around qualification as well, Logan Curtis. 10.966 for Erik Trautwein. Quite a lot of the execution deductions coming later on in that routine.
And Logan Curtis, 11.866 points.
To Keanu Schippers of Ghent University in East Flanders, the second largest university in Belgium. 50,000 students, 9,000 staff. We have Dario van Molechem representing the Belgian team to get us started from Hoogland University College. He was fourth in the all-around competition at the National Championships earlier this year. Year-old came down very low in that landing and stabilised it well. Good lower body strength and a good hold there. Suitable stability in the mandatory balance. Oh, not quite. Just lost that diagonal armed handstand. Brought it back up, but he'll lose some tenths. His pike work, though, was very good. Yes, no wonder he reacts like that. Great start from Dario van Molechem. Lovely to see that when a gymnast gets through the first performance and it has gone as it should have done. Did for Logan Curtis, 11.866. Execution scores high. Not enormous difficulty, but one would always rather see a well-performed routine technically that has lower difficulty. This is Patrick Sampaio Correa of the Estácio de Sal University, named after the founder of Rio de Janeiro. Little wayward in the height of that swing, and the legs just losing some of their form. But he gets through the Busnari, goes into some nice flares. A little piked in the bender swings, but somehow keeping his kinetic energy going despite a deterioration in the leg form. This is remarkable height and heart. Very well done. He kept above the apparatus extraordinarily, considering what was happening with the leg form, and did brilliantly to bring the body up to pirouette round into that dismount. That was determined from Patrick Sampaio Correa. We have New Zealand, Belgium and Brazil all competing in the first half of each rotation. We then move to Denmark, to Hong Kong, China and the Philippines in the second half. 12.566, Dario van Molechem. This is Senne Spikerele, 23-year-old, one of two 23-year-olds in the Belgian team. Student of biomedical science. He'll lose a tenth in penalties there for that step out. He's been having a nice season. Managed to hit his personal best all-around score to win the Luxembourg Open in April. Slight sense of going in instalments into that handstand, but he masks it well. Very secure. A few landing deductions, all starting to mount up, one imagines. But not much at the end there. That was a very stable last tumbling pass. Good to see this gentleman who's from very close to the French border, just 16 miles northeast of Lille. Slightly splayed sense of the lower legs in the tuck position. That might carry a small deduction. 10.9 for Patrick Sampaio Correa. You look at the execution, it was only just above 6. All of those leg form issues. Alex Eistov from the University of Michigan, one of the earliest American research universities. 8 heads of state or heads of government and 41 US governors attended that establishment, several astronauts as well. It is the only university in the world, Michigan, to claim an Alumni Association chapter on the moon, established in 1971 when the crew of the Apollo 15 placed a charter plaque for the new association on the lunar surface. So that is a fairly extraordinary distinction. Alex Eystock, born in New York. Nice swinging elements, under control. He's handling this occasion well. Slight overarch on that handstand. A lot to enjoy there from young Alex Eystock. Very interesting life he's had. Born in New York, grew up in California. But now at the University of Michigan and representing New Zealand. He did well to stabilise that tricky handstand, because often that can lead into a dismount that isn't quite set right. But no issue there. Senne Spikerelle 12.5 on floor. Just to give you an overall sense of the first team subdivision, Canada were the leaders, or are the leaders after one subdivision. And we'll look more at the numbers of that in just a moment. Joshua Teitelbaum, the 19-year-old, is the youngest in the New Zealand squad. Silver medalist on the rings at the National Championships last year. Holding his two iron crosses with poise. It's a relatively simple routine, this, but he's working very confidently, controlling those flickers into the handstand, showing stability and dismounting very well. That's nice. Real sense of a sigh of relief, of a glimpse of a smile from Joshua Teitelbaum at the end of that. Can only imagine how the New Zealand squad was feeling in that 26-hour journey, other than very tired. I think that was probably a given. But the excitement, the nerves, sometimes they can really build up, can't they, nerves, when you're heading somewhere, when you've got a long journey. We'll make that journey last 26 hours for them as well. The nerves must have increased even more. 11.7 for Alex Eystock. We don't expect massively high scores here from New Zealand from a difficulty standpoint, but if the execution numbers are getting close to 9, then they're doing their jobs absolutely right. Canada, 239.593 was their team score. Now, just to put that into numeracy that's more meaningful, if you get 13 1/3, you're going to go above them as an average for every routine. 11.933 for Teitelbaum. That number once again for Canada, 13.31. That's their average score per routine. So we're looking for something in the 13 1/3 mark to be likely to go into the lead. We're watching here Frederik Christensen of the Danish team. The 25-year-old is from Aalborg, the 4th largest city in Denmark, and attends their university. And he attends to that loss of stability in the handstand very well. Oh, little step forward, but that was otherwise a very nicely held landing. They'll be delighted with that in the stands. So will he. So will he, Frederik Christensen. It's a very interesting institution, Aalborg University. We'll come back to that in due course. Now, the Philippines have two gymnasts who are going for all-around and apparatus qualification. They have one gymnast who's only competing on the rings. This is Juancho Miguel Besana, 21-year-old, embarking on his quest to get into the all-around final and any apparatus finals that come with it. He will do 2 vaults as well. Great fight. Wow, I can't believe he stayed on. Only he knows how he did that. He's quite low, that's the only problem. So he's having to really raise the body up to get clearance, but he's managing it. But eventually it caught up with him, and that can happen. The lower the gymnast gets, the more the body pikes, the more energy they expend, and the more that it's hard to keep the kinetic energy building up into your dismount. He's a great gymnast, by the way, Besana, the reigning Southeast Asian Games champion on vault. All of the gymnasts from the Philippines have spoken of the incredible raising of their personal ambitions as a result of what Carlos Yulo has accomplished. Fredrik Christensen, 10.866. First Danish score on the rings. We'll carry on with Denmark and Oliver Kabel of the Technical University of Denmark, one of Europe's leading institutions of engineering. He's the reigning national champion on the rings. Really good effort, this stability in his handstand work and in his dismount too. Some nice gymnastics coming from the first group of nations on the rings, New Zealand and Denmark. Juancho Miguel Besana, 9.766. His execution, unfortunately, quite low.
It was always meant to be there.
He's from Pasig City, on the eastern border with Metro Manila. We go to John Romeo Santillan of Arellano University, founded 87 years ago in Manila as a law school. And the reason why it's nice to talk a lot about Manila is that the Junior World Championships of Artistic Gymnastics are coming up in November in that city. Big moment for the Philippines. And he didn't quite have control going into the vendors rings. Energetic start, lacking a little precision, unfortunately. He does some very nice work on this apparatus. He's been an important part of team success at the Southeast Asian Games. Back into his Magyar Shivados and trying to keep the form as tidy as possible. Oh, I really had to work hard to get up into that dismount. It's important that the hips go continuously upwards. There's not a drop. That can be very costly to the gymnast execution score. If you show what's called visible strength in a handstand, you can lose anything up to half a mark. 11.266. The score for Oliver Cable even. There's a giant screen in the middle of the arena so everyone can see themselves on it when they are caught by the camera. Now, as we look at the Danish fans, we understand that Peter Horslev will not be starting on the rings for them, and if that is the case, then it will be very costly from a team point of view, because they won't be producing 3 performances in this opening rotation. We'll come back to that and bring you confirmation just as soon as we can, but as things stand, we're at the end of the opening rotation. 9.633 for John Romeo Santillan. Hope you're enjoying all of the action from Rhein-Ruhr 2025 in the FISU World University Games Summer. The setting is the Messe Essen Hall number 3, one of the main hubs of sport at these games. This is how things currently look, and what we're going to do here is show you all of the teams that have competed already in the previous subdivision as though they were competing alongside the teams in this subdivision, and that will give you a really clear sense of how the competition is developing. The Portuguese, for example, who are at the top now, they competed in the previous subdivision. I can tell you that they did fade a little as the competition went on. They started superbly on floor. The British and Canadian teams rather grew into their competition. So it will be intriguing to explore the natural ebb and flow of this 2-day-long team event as we try to make it look as though everyone's competing at the same time. But don't worry if you're wondering, well, I didn't see much of Canada in that particular subdivision, or where were the British? They've already competed, but we're going to bring you the scores in a modified form to make it easier to compute just how this team competition is going. And all of that takes us already to rotation number 2. We didn't have any of the competitors from Hong Kong, China in the first rotation because they have gymnasts doing the pommel horse in this rotation, horizontal bar right at the end, and vault in the midpoint of the competition. They only have 3 apparatus specialists and won't be competing as a team. Our focus naturally is going to be on the teams and how they're getting on, but we'll do our best to catch you up on how the individuals are going as and when we get the chance to do so. So to the pommel horse for Belgium. We will see later on for Belgium Liam Desmet get involved, but Desmet is not a gymnast who does the all-around. He's principally known as a ring specialist. He's the national champion, and he will perform for them in the next rotation. Their all-around gymnasts are Van Moorlegem and Spijkerele. They made a positive start, the New Zealand team. Now they'll look to pick up some bigger numbers over up the vaulting table. It's Max Renault from Christchurch, second largest city in New Zealand. Lovely settlement on the South Island. They are so delighted to be here, the New Zealand team. They can almost barely believe it. We're not going to see Joshua Teitelbaum and Daniel Stoddart on vault. So just 3 to go for New Zealand, which means all of their vault scores will count. No opportunity to discard anything. The warm-up time has been completed, and now the gymnasts will move to rotation number 2 of 6. Keanu Skippers. He's 18. He's new to major senior international competition, but a very good young gymnast who competed and won a medal at the Junior European Championships last year in Italy. A very nice beginning, this. Smooth lines. This is lovely. Powerful as well as controlled. It's an elegant display, but a purposeful one. Just got to keep his height on the apparatus, and he goes into a lovely dismount. That was gorgeous. Very stylish gymnastics from Keanu Skippers. That had a silky quality. Sometimes you can just tell from the moment a routine begins that it's looking rather nice and is likely to remain thus. The straightness of the body, that's so important. For those of you newer to watching something like pommel horse, one does not wish to see the gymnast early on bending a lot at the midsection, because then the strength required to do that will perhaps catch up with them. One wishes the athlete to get really good clearance at all times. To the University of Michigan's Alex Eistock, representing New Zealand. Does well to hold on to that. Not enormously clean in terms of the form throughout the vault, but it was performed with security. He's made a good start.
Come on, Max, let's go.
He's a very ambitious young lad, is Alex Eistock. Oh yes, that will do nicely for Belgium. 13.433. Skippers on the pommel horse, and I can tell you that that is the second best score we've seen on the apparatus. Ravshan Kamiljanov of Uzbekistan, a full mark above that. To Dario van Moorlichem. Hoogent University College, the largest university in Flanders, has campuses in 3 cities. Now, he has a little bit of midsection bend, and it will be interesting to see if he can just keep the clearance strong. Yes, there we go, the leg separation coming in. But how well he snapped that back under control. Almost having to work around the corners of the pommel horse at times. What a fight that was. Good effort. Very good effort. Well, he's right to celebrate that, because that showed enormous industry. The problem is that it will carry a fairly substantial deduction. 12.7 for Eistock on vault. Just to go back to that thing that we love to see when a gymnast really works hard to get up into the dismount. The problem is that it will result in the judges taking execution marks off because of the lack of smoothness and the obvious strength required. Now this is the Brazilian gymnast competing on the rings, Patrick Sampaio Correa. Trick, as he's known. He's from Resende in Rio State in the southeast of Brazil. Jonathan to Yamawaki. Oh, I was about to say to handstand, but he nearly lost that handstand. Got the last 5% of it and brought it back under control. His dismount, a little wild in form, but holds it well. He has full colours with his team at the Pan American Championships over the last several years, including Team Gold in 2024. Coming up here into the handstand, slight overarch, and then amazingly doesn't drop down completely. That was, all things considered, a very fine landing. 10.7. Dario van Moorlegem. We go to Max Renault. Of Otago Polytechnic. Well, that was a rather different sort of vault, the first that we've seen to use the Yurchenko entry in this little group of gymnasts. We only had one earlier on in the day, I believe. Let's take a step out. Twists around reasonably nicely. 12.6 his score.
Oh, yeah.
He will now sit out the rings, or rather the parallel bars rotation, having sat out the rings rotation at the start, but he'll feature on high bar, floor and pommel horse. Patrick Sampaio, 12.066. To Diogo Soares, very well-known gymnast. 2 medals at the Youth Olympic Games in 2018. The all-around runner-up at the last Pan American Games. So very much the heart and soul of this Brazilian team. And he will be attempting all-around qualification. There's smoothness in that handstand. Was very tidy looking Jonathan to Yamawaki work. And he dismounts quite tidily. Well, from Brazil's point of view, that will likely be of great help to their campaign. He's another of the gymnasts at the Estácio de Sá University. And this is Kilian van der Aar, not Dario van Moorlegem. He's the reigning champion of his country on the pommel horse. Very nearly made the European Championship final. And you can see here, I'm sure, somebody who is operating more as a specialist does on the apparatus. Yes, he lost the legs very slightly there, but oh no, he lost them completely. What a shame. He was going for some quite ambitious work. That's the risk. He was a gymnast who had a dreadful back injury a couple of years ago and worked unbelievably assiduously to come back. He's a very gracious and positive young gentleman, always thanks teammates, always thanks the hosts of competitions, writes about how he's been inspired by people around him. comes across as a thoroughly decent chap. And he's more than a decent pommel horse gymnast. This is very nice. Yes, and it's an elaborate finish as well. Some nice pirouetting. Regrettably, a full mark goes from the score for coming off the apparatus, to his obvious frustration, because that was really 9/10 of a delight. It's so sad, that moment where you can just see on his face the reality of it hitting him. It was partial when he came off, and then it was at the end of the routine that you saw the poor young man's face fall. And that's where a good coach is needed, somebody who can say the right things. 12.833. One expected that to be a better score for the Brazilians on rings from Jogo Soares. We go back to Logan Curtis of the Victoria University of Wellington. And he also vaults very capably. Same vault that we saw, I think it was from Alexander Eistock. Will carry a 3.6 difficulty score, but the execution should be quite positive. It is 9 for execution, so 12.6 for Logan Curtis, just 1/10 lower than his teammate Alex Eistock. Again, an example of a lower degree of difficulty than we'll see from some gymnasts here, but perform with clarity. He went for high difficulty on the pommel horse, Kilian van der Aar, 5.7. 13.4 is still a strong score. When you consider that he lost a full mark, that was the kind of performance that would have got him right up there with Ravshan Kamiljanov. He is 4th currently in pommel horse qualification. The issue is there are some very strong pommel horse gymnasts still to come. We're preparing now to move into the second half of rotation number 2. And I will just confirm for you that the Danes did indeed only put 2 gymnasts up on the rings. They didn't have Peter Horslev, and they were never likely to put up Valdemar Rasmussen, because Valdemar Rasmussen is absolutely a vault specialist and is getting ready now to compete in his only contribution to their team effort. To remind you, or tell you the information for the first time if you're just joining us, that teams have to put up 3 scores per apparatus in order to be in the team event. This is Fredrik Christensen, the first to vault for the Danes. He started with 10.866 on rings. His university, Aalborg's motto is New Ways, which is a nod to its breaking from the older traditional approach of Danish universities. Aalborg universities try to focus on interdisciplinary studies, to do problem-based learning, less of a traditional lecture structure. And it's actually got its own way of teaching, known as the Albor model. A chance here to see Chu Pak-chun of the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, founded in 1937, 88 years ago. It's the government trade school. Pommel horse specialist, representing Hong Kong, China. Biggest competition he has ever done. He must be processing a lot coming into this. We wish him really good fortune. He'll be the only gymnast from Hong Kong, China on this apparatus. Starts with some scissoring work that was competently performed. Battling with a little leg separation, but he's got it for the moment under control. Fast Wenderschwings, lost the legs a little, and again, oh, he's a strong chap though, isn't he, to hold on, considering that the legs are a little lost here and there. Really did clip the apparatus and managed somehow to get through that. Lots to enjoy in that display from the 21-year-olds. Very good effort. He will take a lot of execution deductions, I fear. 12.533 for Fredrik Christensen. Now to Oliver Cable. Securely done from the gymnast who was the runner-up on vault at the National Championships last year. Also won all-around gold at last month's Danish Team Championships. Hand placement was maybe not totally optimal. And he certainly seems to be close to landing out of bounds. .11.4 for Chu Pak-chun. 7 for execution. Some nice work there. 12.5 for Cable. We go now over to Juancho Miguel Besana. Represents the University of Makati as well as the Philippines, university in the Metro Manila area, founded in 1972. He has a fine collection of honours, full colours at the Southeast Asian Games. Has to reset there, unfortunately. Thought his way quickly out of a problem, but that's going to be surely considered a fall. And a slightly jarred sense of landing. It didn't look enormously secure, but he showed real determination to get through it. Now to Valdemar Rasmussen of the University of Copenhagen. Beautiful city, great university, established in 1479, the oldest in Denmark, the second oldest in the entire region after the University of Uppsala in Sweden. He's the champion of his country on this apparatus. Oh, went for a big roche. It was a determined attack. That is so much higher in terms of difficulty than what we have seen so far. Jorge Roche's vault, handspring double front in the tuck position, named after a Cuban Olympian from 1980. 4.8 difficulty score. We've seen some vaults in this rotation that have been scoring 3.6, for example. Difficult to get the full rotation angle spot on, so the gymnast doesn't land in that supine position. I'm sure many of you know you have to get the feet down first with the vault in order to be credited with any score for it. If you get the feet down first and then have a loss of equilibrium and go to ground, then it's a full mark gone from your score, plus whatever associated deductions there might be. You may also not get the full difficulty if you haven't got round the requisite number of times. 10.766, Juan Miguel Besana. That's a full mark up on rings from his score on the pommel horse.
Come on, Colin. Let's go, Colin.
Now we're heading over to the rings. Colin Stenger of the University of Michigan, a ring specialist. This is the only contribution that he will make to the Philippines delegation. He's very, very good on this apparatus. It's been a great time for him recently. This is a senior international debut in May. Isn't that a lovely level shoulder presentation? I had to interrupt myself, that was so nice. In May of 2025, he graduated in aerospace engineering. Oh, that's unfortunate. Incredibly bright, gentle, and concentration in structures and materials from the University of Michigan in the engineering faculty, who competed on their team for 4 years. Started with a Bachelor of Science in Aerospace, Aeronautical and Astronautical Engineering, graduated magna cum laude, one of the most prestigious distinctions in American university grading. He's got one of the best shoulder presentations in the Iron Cross, but he is struggling a little here, showing determination as you'd expect. No, it's not quite happening, and it sometimes can be like that, and best to go no further if that's the case. Now, what little we saw of that routine, it had some lovely moments, but one can see with clarity that something isn't quite right. He fought hard to get up into that position. Well done to him for not going on with that. That was excellent. Totally the right decision. Don't risk more than you need to risk. 12.633 for the Roche from Valdemar Rasmussen. I can tell you that he scored 13.466 for his second vault, by the way, so he's currently second in vault qualification standings. Now, he's likely to be passed by other gymnasts, but it would be remiss not to point out that he is the second best in overall vault qualification at the moment. I just want to go back and say one last thing about Colin Stenger, by the way, which is that not only did he do all of that amazing work academically, he was a graduate student instructor who looked after 40 undergraduate teaching assistants and over 800 freshmen at the university. All of that while competing for the university team and doing his own studies. Terrific. The absolute ethos of these games. 10.433, Colin Stenger. Certainly aiming for more than that, but a good decision to not force the issue when he was obviously feeling discomfort. We are about to move on to the next phase of our competition. We're at the 1/3 mark. This is how things look at the end of rotation number 2. Belgium, the best performing nation in this particular subdivision. What I mentioned earlier about the Portuguese, how they dropped down, you're seeing represented. New Zealand behind the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland at the moment. Brazil 6th, Denmark 7th. And there we have the cut-off, because in fact we have the cut-off between Brazil and Denmark. It's really the top 6 that we're looking at, because they're the only nations who are putting full teams up. So well done to the Belgians. They are the pace setters in this particular group. As I mentioned at the start of our broadcast, 13 1/3 average per routine will put you ahead of the Canadians. And I will caveat all of our standings by telling you, and it won't spoil any surprises because it's already happened, that the Canadians finished particularly well on the horizontal bar. So they will come out of rotation number 6 looking in very good order. They do have a little bit of a dip midway through the competition, but Canada currently have the top 3 scores on the horizontal bar. It's all great fun, isn't it? The data science of a team competition, the mathematics of it, as well as the gymnastics of it. One does perform mental somersaults trying to make sense of it all. Hope you're enjoying it all so far, and that you are having a lovely start to your week, whatever time of day or night it is and wherever you are watching from. We are thrilled to have you with us at the 2025 FISU World University Games Summer at Rhine-Ruhr 2025. Brazil at the vaulting table, New Zealand parallel bars, the Belgians on the rings. And that's where Liam Yuen Desmet will be potentially quite important to them as their national champion. Thomas Rodrigues will be vaulting twice for the Brazilians, as will Patrick Correa. Top 8 on each apparatus, adhering to the 2 per country rule, will go into the final. Top 24 in all-around gymnastics, again adhering to the 2 per country rule, will go into that final. This is Eric Oliveira Dominguez, known as Eric Troutwine, of Paulista University. Huge and accomplished institution academically, the Universidade Estadual Paulista. We congratulate him, by the way, on recently getting engaged. Stable on his landing. We expect that there will be greater complexity to come from the likes of Rodrigues and Correa. Now to Joshua Teitelbaum. He won the all-around bronze medal at the National Championships last year, to do a bit of improvisatory work there. Now holds his handstand and just almost eases into the routine, takes a moment of pause, and he dismounts well. It's a little low. That won't have a huge difficulty score, but good rescue, good quick thinking. Definitely somewhat alternative beginning from the one that he was anticipating. Eric Troutwine, 12.4. Now to Patrick Sampaio Correa of Estacio de Sá University. He's going to vault twice. He made his debut at the World Championships in Antwerp in 2023. That was at senior level. He had competed at the Junior World Championships before that. That was in 2019. That's a good vault. 4.4 difficulty. All of the vaults in the men's code of points, I'm sure some of you know, have decreased by 4/10 in difficulty as of the start of this year, just to try to create a better sense of balance across men's scoring. Often vault was a lot higher than it was on other apparatus, so all of the vaults were taken down by 4/10 of a mark. And that's particularly interesting for team and all-around competitions. It doesn't change vault finals because everyone's got the same dynamic there, but it does mean if you were a team that had particularly high scoring vaulters, you maybe don't have the sort of advantage you used to. We have a packed day tomorrow of 3 full subdivisions starting at 10 o'clock in the morning local time here in Essen, going right the way through until around 10 p.m. Then Spaccarelli of Odysseas, the University of Applied Sciences, with 6 campuses, and he studies in a very leafy student town 30 kilometres northwest of Brussels. Good move up to handstand, controls it well. Jonasson, Yamawaki, handstand, very nice. Little flickering, some tenths here and there. A little swinging of those rings to control there, starting to move quite a bit, and yet he stabilises his landing ably. It was never a routine that worried one. It was composed looking, it was tidy looking. It should have a fairly decent execution score. He loses a little more than he would ideally have liked for that to hop back on the landing. Men can get a 0.1 bonus for sticking landings in most of their apparatus. 13.233. That's an important score for Patrick Sampaio Correa. Now to Joshua Teitelbaum. 7.8 was his score on the parallel bars. Logan Curtis of the Victoria University of Wellington. He's just having a dream come true year, frankly, because he's already been selected for the World Championships in Jakarta. Not least a dream come true because it won't take 26 hours to get there. First time ever the World Championships have been held in that part of the world, the Southeast Asian region. That's regrettable. A little over-rotated coming to ground and taking a few stumbles back. He's the reigning national champion on the parallel bars. I'll just give you a quick update on Patrick Sampao. He struggled, I'm afraid, with his second vault, 12.166, so he's only in 4th place in vault qualification. 12.3 for Spaccarelli. Now, this is the only performance that we will see in this team final from Liam Desmet, the champion of his country on this apparatus. He was born in Jiangxi, in the People's Republic of China. Goes up beautifully into the planche. And what a nice move to Maltese that is. Some different sort of skills here, some greater complexity. Wonderful iron cross. Finger point demonstrated as well, opens the palms. Lovely. Divers Jonasson. Super straight line with the shoulders. Again, a good Maltese. Crisp handstand. This is lovely. That's a very good performance from Liam Desmet of Belgium. Some of the elements in that routine were just as pretty as a picture. Particularly his iron cross. Yes, it's a fundamental move. It is one of the most, not basic, because nothing on the rings is basic, nothing in gymnastics is basic, but one of the most foundational rings moves. But his, nonetheless, iron cross technique is just delightful. It's lovely to see the fundamentals performed so smoothly. Logan Curtis, 11.166. The 20-year-old from Lower Hutt. Let us have a look at Diogo Soares. Yes, very good. The Yurchenko with a double twist. And quite upright as he landed, a small midsection bend. One anticipates that this will get a pretty healthy score, 13.7, there we go. Brazil likely to see an improvement to their position based on how they're performing on vault. 13.9 for Liam Desmet. And I can tell you that that is, without any great surprise, the second best that we've seen on rings. Just 1/10 lower than William Emar, the Canadian. Definitely not. That's more like it. Tomás Rodríguez of Estacio de Sá University. Ah, not quite. Going for some real ambition in that vault. Yes, 12.466. And he is a gymnast aspiring for qualification to the vault final. Now, Alex Eistock of the University of Michigan. He dismounted very well there. Tuck position was well established, got decent height. Likeable gymnast. Some nice work technically. A very cerebral gentleman. He espoused the very apposite phrase, trust the process and accept that progress will not always be linear. Wise words.
Time for our best app, eh?
He won the silver medal on the parallel bars at the National Championships last year. Next he'll go to the horizontal bar where he was the bronze medalist. And we are now at the halfway point of this rotation. I'll just give you a useful update about Tomás Rodríguez, which is that he scored 13.633 for his second vault. I'll come back to that in a moment. Alex Eistock, 12.5 on the parallel bars. Very useful score that for the New Zealand team. But yes, Rodríguez is currently in second place in vault qualification because of that very strong second vault, which was Roche 13.049. Ng Chun Chun of Malaysia is the top performer in vault qualification at the moment. Our focus will remain very much on this team competition, but I'll try and give you little updates here and there on how some of those individual apparatus quests are coming along. Now the Philippines will be on vault in the second half of this rotation. Denmark on the parallel bars. And we won't have any representation from Hong Kong, China, because they're next due to take to the competition floor in the vault rotation, which will be the next one for them. That'll be Vincent Wong. The Philippines have in Juancho Miguel Besana somebody who will be attempting 2 vaults and who is the reigning Southeast Asian Games champion on the apparatus. Denmark on the parallel bars. We understand that Peter Horslev will not be competing, so that again would reduce the Danes just to 2 scores. And I just remind you that of their 4-strong team, one of their gymnasts, Valdemar Rasmussen, is a vault specialist and really only does that apparatus. Last moments to prepare for the vault rotation for the 2 gymnasts from the Philippines. To Juancho Miguel Besana, the reigning Southeast Asian Games vault champion, now on this global stage, the World University Games. Good luck to him. Wow, that was ambitious. That was very ambitious. Struggling to get it fully round, but certainly mounting a big attack of that vault. Yes, it was very much on the cusp of the correct degree of rotation. We'll come back to that in a moment and look at the score. Fredrik Christensen of Aalborg University representing the Danes. Silver medalist on the parallel bars at the National Championships last year. And at the Danish Team Championships earlier this year, his best score was on this apparatus. So we might see some impressive work from him here. Clicks the heels nicely in the handstand. Has to rise up again into handstand position there, though. That will be costly. And he's really taking paces with the hands to deal with that overarched handstand. But the dismount was great. Not everything entirely according to plan, but some beautiful moments there from Fredrik Christensen. Did have to reset that handstand, which will be a little problematic. And every time you walk with the hands, it's a 1/10 of a mark taken from the score. .366 for that vault for Besana. What a nice moment of camaraderie. .066, Fredrik Christensen. Now focus is on cheering his teammates on. Back we go to the vaulting table and Juan Romeo Santillan. He's from Mandaluyong city, directly east of Manila, and goes to a university in the city itself, in Arellano University, having gone to Rizal High School in Pasig City, where they are very proud of what this young man has accomplished. He was an excellent junior when he was in school. Lots of medals in national competitions. And that's a good vault. He has some backwards adjustment on the landing, but it was performed with an assurance and with quite a lot of power too. Loses a little of the symmetry in the legs as he's approaching the landing position, but he stays quite centrally aligned. 13.233. He's not due to be vaulting a second time, just his teammate Besana doing that. And Besana is currently 4th in vault qualification. He struggled really a lot with his second vault. Oliver Cable takes to the parallel bars for the Danes, and here is their national champion on this apparatus. And straight away he's just offline by a small amount, but that leads to a full mark lost for unintentionally dismounting. Oh, it's so difficult for a gymnast when the first moments of a routine don't go according to plan, when effectively your mount sequence is off. Again, didn't look fully secure. But now he can hopefully just get into the bread and butter of the routine. And the dismount was pretty smooth looking from Oliver Cable. He reacted well to a difficult start. He'll be looking forward to heading to the horizontal bar next, where he's particularly fond of triple dismounts. The triple dismount is becoming now very important for the men's code of points, as at the start of this year, with the changes that have been made. Might cater to him very nicely. Loving the experience of being here, that's clear. 9.633 the score. And we are getting very close to the halfway stage of this entire subdivision. And these people are hugely important, the delegations that have come along to support the friends, the family, the loved ones. They're not just earning their plaudits here, they've been living one step behind and in front of their gymnasts all the time, supporting them every step of the way. These are the standings at the moment. Canada in the lead, Great Britain second, Belgium the best in this particular subdivision, but as we suspected, the Brazilians have moved up a little bit into 4th place from 6th before. Portugal, as I alluded to earlier, slipping down a fraction. And I just remind you that Canada did have a very strong last rotation. And I'm sure there are many of you watching this who couldn't be here, couldn't accompany your gymnast to this competition for various reasons, but I'm sure you know how much you're appreciated by them, and how much they value the input that you've made. You might be somebody who coached them when they were the age of those young spectators there, played your part in their development. No longer coaching them, but never forgotten for the positive work that you did. Halfway through this subdivision, we are about to embark upon rotation number 4. We're going to see Belgium at the vaulting table, New Zealand over on the horizontal bar, Brazil on the parallel bars. New Zealand competing on the horizontal bar. Rotation number 4 about to get underway for them. Always good fun, isn't it, when the horizontal bar comes into play in a men's team competition? And please, if you can, be part of our coverage tomorrow. We've got 3 very busy subdivisions to bring you. Each of them will have 6 nations. Not all of the nations will be attempting to win the team title, but they will certainly all be aspiring to a place in individual finals. And we will have, last of all tomorrow, the clear favourites for the entire thing, Japan, sporting the last 2 individual all-around Olympic champions in one team. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, that is very difficult for everyone else to contend with. What a privilege for us it will be to watch them. A star-studded Japanese lineup coming your way tomorrow. And it will be this time tomorrow that they're competing. They'll start their campaign at 6:30 local time here in Germany. We'll begin our coverage 5 minutes before that. And we will see if Japan can live up to pre-match billing. Will we get some surprises from very fine nations alongside them, like the United States of America, like the Republic of Korea, who performed very well in Chengdu 2 years ago. The squad from Chinese Taipei could also be very impressive. And then those coming earlier on in the day, the German team will be thrilled to perform in front of a home crowd. In 24 hours' time, we will be getting closer to knowing who is going to be team champions at the World University Games. And then the day after that, the day after tomorrow, we'll do it all again with the women's competition. That will take place over the course of one day. 4 subdivisions of women's qualification, 3 of which will contribute to the team final. So just like with the gentlemen today, the first subdivision will be devoted to individuals and their qualification quest, and we will televise all of the women's team subdivisions. They're obviously just really enjoying it, aren't they? As they should be. Pretty unsociable time of day watching on in New Zealand. Thank you to all of you who are supporting your team in the early hours. Here's Max Renault of Otago Polytechnic, initially the Dunedin Technical School, founded in 1889. That was nicely performed, a Jaeger somersault. He swings into a big dismount. Very good. Tidy start that. That's what you need from your gymnast leading off. The man from the Garden City of Christchurch. Greater complexity will come, but crisp execution was delivered. And that's what one wishes to see.
Come on, man.
He's made his contribution count. Didn't do rings, didn't do parallel bars. Kiana Skippers of Ghent University representing the Belgians. Over to the vaulting table for him, and decently done. Very central. No issues of stability really. Twisting around nicely, coming back to face the table.
You got this.
13.666. That was the double twisting Yuchenko, but I think if I read the vault board correctly, he was indicating he was going to do a shoe felt, which would have been an extra 4/10. So maybe just made a decision on the day to lower the difficulty in order to gain the execution. It certainly worked. Team New Zealand calling out encouragement to Dan Stoddart as Max Renault waits for the number to arrive, and it's 11.533. Again, it's difficulty-wise quite low, 2.7, but the execution score's really high, as it certainly should have been based on what we saw. We are with Patrick Correa of Estácio de Sá University, sometimes also known as Patrick Sampao. Both surnames, as you can see on the back of his competition attire there. Very common in Lusophonic countries for people to have two surnames, and not necessarily a hard and fast rule as to which they prefer to be known by. Gets up into handstand with a little effort shown. Might lose a small amount for that. That was good. Nice smooth work on the single rail. Bavsar seemed to have a brief deterioration of form. His Tippel much more classically executed. And his dismount very good too. Patrick Correa, part of the team that won bronze at the Pan American Games in Santiago in 2023. He's got a mighty collection of regional and continental honours. Very impressive. With Team New Zealand in the second half of their competition. Dan Stoddart of the University of Auckland Now, he won a bronze medal on this apparatus at the Oceania Championships a couple of years ago. He's an engineering student. Can he build a high score here? Performs the Kovac nicely. It's a well-controlled routine. He looks very much in command of the apparatus, and he dismounts beautifully. That's lovely. Dan Stoddart from the North Shore of Auckland. We'll have a look back at the performance of the 22-year-old. That was the dismount that he was in absolute control over. His Kovac earlier was well performed too. 13.2 for Patrick Correa. The best score that we've seen so far on the parallel bars. 13.766 from William Emar. Now to Diogo Soares. This year won silver on this apparatus at the Pan American Championships. Had to take a little pace to control that overarch. Was assured. We did say right from the start that he was going to be one of the most important performers in the Brazil team. Did have a moment in there that looked as though he'd almost lost his way slightly. He seemed to be reacting in kind at the end of it. 12.933 is the score for Dan Stoddart on the horizontal bar. That is certainly going to help the overall New Zealand cause. It's the 5th best score we've seen so far on the horizontal bar. Sen Spaccarelli will now vault for the Belgian team. He'll vault in a very controlled fashion. .4 difficulty score, 9.1 execution, 13.5 overall. I just go back to remind you that 13 1/3 as an average would put you ahead of the Canadians. And that's overall. 13.2, Diogo Soares, a parallel bars score that will be of use to Team Brazil. They will only have 3 performing on the parallel bars, the Brazilians, so they'll need every score. Alex Eistock of the University of Michigan. Now, he won the bronze medal at the National Championships last year on the horizontal bar. straight Kachev, got suitable clearance, and then he goes into a very high straddle Kachev. That had great amplitude. Snaps nicely around to go into his dismount, and a little adjustment necessary from Alex Eistok, but particularly striking there was that very elegant and powerful straddle Kachev. And that's the one. Doesn't he get good clearance? And it's very important because you can lose up to 0.3 of a mark for low amplitude on your flight elements on the horizontal bar. So very costly if a gymnast doesn't really get distance between themselves and the apparatus. We go to Dario van Moerlegem, vaulting for Belgium. Oh, the fall at the start of that was a little tricky, but the landing was anything but. Gosh. Well, we'll have a look at this. It starts with a bit of leg separation, and then bang, around he goes, and he lands that well. He's certainly out of bounds as he comes down to ground, but no wonder he reacted with the ferocity that he did. He did very well to get the form issues under control. It was a split second, that's all. And as a result, he still maintains a 9+ execution score. 13.366 for him. The Belgians doing well at the moment, making use of this vault rotation. 12.633, Alex Eistok on the horizontal bar. He won't be involved in the next rotation due to return for Pommelhorst. We are working our way through the warm-up process, the second half of the antepenultimate rotation of subdivision number 3. At the end of this, we'll give you the standings again. We're starting to get a greater sense of clarity now as to how this particular phase of the team competition is developing, and it seems clear that the Belgians are the standout performers overall in this particular subdivision. But whether they'll get beyond the Canadians, we shall see, because Canada have still got that strong final rotation of their own to come. I say to come, they've done it already, but we'll be reflecting that in the scoring by showing you it as though it was happening at the same time as this particular subdivision. Now, what of tomorrow? We've got Australia in subdivision 4. They'll be with Austria, with Cyprus, with Finland, and with Armenia. But we don't anticipate the Armenians competing as a team, but they will certainly have some exciting individuals, particularly in terms of the Pommelhorst standing. Same for Egypt, they won't be competing as a team. So that will be the first subdivision tomorrow. We've then got nations to come like Switzerland, like Italy, like Spain, Turkey, host nation Germany to come, and then Ukraine. And then we go to that big hitting final subdivision that I mentioned earlier, with teams like Japan, the USA, Republic of Korea, Chinese Taipei, etc. Kazakhstan are there as well. They were very strong at the last games. Now we look at Vincent Wong, representing the University of Hong Kong and Hong Kong, China. He is very much a vault specialist. This is his only contribution. It's his second consecutive World University Games. Very fine scientist. And he was compressed there, but may have avoided the hands going down. Hard to be fully sure. We'll have a look at it again in a moment. Yes, he did just avoid a swipe of the hand on the mat. He's studying a BSc in computer science in the Faculty of Engineering at his institution. Now to Frederik Christensen, over on the horizontal bar for the Danish team, but the Danish team not able to compete fully as a team. They have only generally put up 2 per apparatus. It's Peter Horslev who is not involved. We were expecting him to be, so I hope all is well with him there. Hands go down and the score will lose a full mark. Frederik Christensen, bronze medalist at the National Championships last year on the horizontal bar. He has competed at competitions like the Nordic Championships. And my word, is there sporting rivalry at the Nordic Championships. There's a great gymnastics tradition in Denmark, not just in artistic gymnastics, but in trampoline tumbling. They're very strong at World Championship level there. 12.9, Vincent Wong. Frederik Christensen, 10.7 on the horizontal bar. Danish team will be quite far down the standings because of their loss of one gymnast. Oliver Cable of the Technical University of Denmark, established in 1829 as the first polytechnic in the country. Straddle Kachev. Important that the gymnast catches with very extended arms. Yes, wonderful! I told you that he liked triple dismounts in the horizontal bar. There's the proof. Oh, that's one of the moments of the day. You could tell that something very special was coming based on how much he motored round into this dismount. He needed enormous amounts of force. Triple tuck. Bang on. As the late, great Mitch Fenner would have said, give that man a biscuit. John Romeo Santillan, the next gymnast to compete in this third subdivision in men's qualification, which also doubles as the team final at Rhein-Ruhr 2025. Over on the parallel bars, this gymnast who was part of the team that won silver at the Southeast Asian Games in 2023. Having little resets here and there, and certainly some wildness. Unfortunate, the execution will be hit hard, and some difficulty, one imagines, will be sacrificed. And despite all of that, he delivers a very composed dismount. That was a good bit of stabilisation at close of play. He has a little bend at the knees in the pike position that might be addressed. But did well after a somewhat turbulent routine. He's thrilled, isn't he? And he's thrilled us, yeah, absolutely. We counted them, don't you worry. We counted all of them. Triple back tuck to finish 12.066. You need a showman in a competition. He's one of them. It's lovely when you get the chance to say that somebody enormously enjoys triple flipping dismounts on an apparatus, and then they live up to the pre-match billing when we finally get the chance to see them on that apparatus.
Yes.
That's the technical coaching vocabulary. .733, John Romeo Santillan. So much excitement building up in the Philippines about the Junior World Championships later this year. It's going to be a great occasion. Good to see people committing to the dance work. This is how it currently looks. Belgium in second place behind Canada, ahead of Great Britain. Canada and Great Britain were in the earlier subdivision. Brazil, fourth place. New Zealand in sixth position, and there the cut-off occurs because everyone below has not completed a full team competition thus far, and indeed won't complete a full team competition because they haven't put three up on each piece. The warm-up process is about to begin for what is going to be the penultimate rotation. Belgium will be on the parallel bars, Brazil on the horizontal bar, where they have got a Youth Olympic Games medalist. New Zealand will be competing on floor in the first half of this particular rotation. Thank you for your company wherever it is you're watching from. I do hope you're enjoying your week and enjoying the coverage of the 2025 FISU World University Games, the Rhein-Ruhr Games. All of this action coming from the Messe Essen Hall, number 3. Sports like fencing and table tennis happening right by the gymnastics arena. Judo happening very close as well. So much going on. It's a great space. It allows the athletes as well as the competitors, the spectators, I mean, athletes and competitors, one and the same. It allows everyone the opportunity to breathe in the atmosphere of a multi-sport games, and that is not always a given when you are at one of these events. Sometimes you can be at a multi-sport games and almost be isolated in your own little world on your sport in an arena that's somewhere away from everything else. But here you cannot fail to notice that you're at a multi-sport event, because there are people in taekwondo gear walking past you as you're getting ready for your competition. You've got fencers left, right and centre. All fine as long as you don't stand between them. It's coming up to 8:30 in the evening here in Germany. So a lot of these gymnasts have really had quite a long wait throughout the day to compete. And somebody we have to think of here particularly is Wong Yuk Lam of Hong Kong, China, who will be only doing one apparatus at these games. And it's the horizontal bar. He's a horizontal bar specialist. So when the draw came out, and it's a random process to a certain extent, you do have the top performing nations from the previous games in the last subdivision, like Japan, for example, who won the silver medal, and China, who won't be sending a full team here, but they are the reigning champions, technically. So they're later on, but you've got people like Wong Yuk Lam who must have looked at the draw when it came out and thought, oh my word, I've got to get through the whole day to be in the last subdivision and to be in the last rotation of that subdivision before I can finally perform. It's been a long time since breakfast for him. You've got to get your mental process spot on for something like that, and goodness only knows how you do it. One has to have nothing but great respect for all of these athletes. Joshua Teitelbaum of the University of Auckland. Bronze medalist on floor at the National Championships last year. It's good secure double pike work. Very nice. Operating the tuck position with equal purpose and poise. That's where he had a deterioration of form. The legs weren't quite right in the twisting. Hope that he's okay. Hasn't jarred anything. Gymnasts have to be very deliberate in how they get into the corner. They can't just trot their way into it using what would be deemed overly simple steps. Well, lots very enjoyable about this performance from Joshua Teitelbaum. He shakes his head understandably because he started with very strong work in the pike position. Then he went into the front tuck. That was very good as well, and unfortunately it came rather unstuck when he was twisting. Kilian van der Aar on the parallel bars after he got so close to a crackerjack of a routine on the pommel horse. We don't often get the chance internationally to see him on this apparatus. He's got good toe point. waving around in the breeze there in that handstand, but brought it under stability. Man of position, and then lovely. Oh, you could see from how he set that dismount that he was going to make it work. That was exquisite. Got a little clip there, didn't he, on the outermost rail. This is lovely. Man of position, rotating around twice forwards in the tuck position, and he is bang on. Great trajectory judgment from Kilian van der Aert. Titlebaum, 11.266 for his work on floor. Max Renault of Otago Polytechnic and the New Zealand team. He's capable of some very poised looking work on floor. Has to take a sizable step forward, but there was a little touch of style in how he got into the corner. That's what I was saying earlier about it can't be simple steps. Some nice little memorable touches to his work. Some of the transition elements are good fun. Very enjoyable that, wasn't it? Gymnast with a bit of flair. Some balletic elegance here and there from Max Renault. He did lose a fair amount in terms of execution with the clarity of some of his landings from the tumbling passes. I think that rather sums up how the whole New Zealand team's feeling about being here. I think it's reciprocated. 13.133, Kilian van der Aert. 0.1 bonus for sticking that landing. That certainly wasn't in doubt. They're getting into a good mood, the Belgian team. Jorge Suarez, silver medalist at the Youth Olympic Games on this apparatus in 2018. I remember it well, I'm sure many of you do. The atmosphere in that arena was extraordinary. Rare that a Brazilian is cheered so loudly in Argentina. Nice one-arm giant. Trying so hard to get that handstand up into 0 degrees, fully to vertical. Very nice catch there, extended the arms well to re-grasp the bar. And his landing doesn't require much adjustment. Jorge Suarez. He's got a large collection of honours on this apparatus at continental and regional level. Made his senior Olympic debut in Paris. The Brazilian men didn't qualify a full team, so he was there as an individual. .266 is the floor score for Max Renault.
Come on. Beauty. Well done.
Over on the parallel bars, some promising looking work from the Belgians. This is Dario van Moorlegem. He is from St Nicholas, the city that is famous for having the largest market square in the whole of Europe. Beautiful place. Quite a smooth looking start. The Amadov was polished. Does have to take a few paces, and that's good control at the end, because sometimes when gymnasts take those handstand paces and then go into the dismount, you worry they're not fully set for it. But not an issue for Dario van Moorlegem. Double pike, quite a tight angle of the body in the pike position, which is good. .8 for Diogo Soares. His horizontal bar performance, the strongest that we've seen so far by comparison, is just over a mark higher than that. So Felix Dolci of Canada. Another Buenos Aires youth Olympian. And indeed a medalist. Sen Spaccarelli. The biomedical scientist at the University of Applied Sciences. He's shown us some very nice moments so far in his competition. How controlled can he be here? So far, very controlled. Going for nice detail on the toe point, trying to create cleanliness of the leg position. On the subject of cleanliness, it did go there. Every now and then the fluidity is compromised. For the most part, there's a lot to enjoy. And he does arrest a large stumble forwards on the landing. There's something of a mixed bag there. There were moments of absolute beauty, and there were moments that were less crisp. He is doing all 6 apparatus, and as I mentioned at the start of our coverage, he recently produced his best ever all-around score to win the Luxembourg Open title in April. Patrick Sampaio Correa, the next to compete for the Brazilians on the horizontal bar. Gold medalist at the South American Championships on this apparatus a few years ago. He can deliver some very big release work. Let's find out what he's got in store for us. A Casino. Well performed. Kovac keeps it going. And good height on his straight Kachev, the layout Kachev. Next one's going to be the traditional straddle version. There's a lot happening. Can he bring it under control right at the end? Very good from Patrick Sampaio Correa. There was some exciting release work, starting with the Casino. That's a popular opening release and regrasp skill. It looks very nice when it's well performed with the legs straightened. .2, same as his score on the parallel bars. And it is the best non-Canadian score that we have seen on the horizontal bar so far. Fourth best overall, but in real terms, as Van Molleham scores 12.9, in real terms, it is the third best horizontal bar score because only 2 of those 3 Canadians can make it into the final. Ioannis Konopoulos is ruled out. Kiano Skippers now takes to the parallel bars. The gymnast who'll finish on the horizontal bar where he won a medal at the Junior European Championships last year. He was the best on parallel bars at this year's National Championships. There's some nice cleanliness to this work, good geometry. Well, that was elegant, wasn't it? Nice gymnastics from the teenager from Belgium. That is likely to be up there with the best that we've seen so far on the parallel bars. Again, clean lines, nice geometry. How good will it be? Gosh, that's almost the top score. Second best so far on the parallel bars, 13.733. He's hundreds, mere hundreds behind William Emar. For the Belgian Sennet Spijkerele, 13.433. That's another good parallel bar score for Belgium. They've done themselves no harm at all in this particular rotation. Focus now with the Danes and Frederik Christensen. Does well to hold on to that. He was a touch low in his landing. Some of the tumbling in flight is lacking a little precision. But it's certainly not lacking composure. Never in doubt, the hold of that handstand. Judges the move into the corner very well. Good sense of space and place. And little to deduct on that landing. He's growing into this. Can he hold this arabesque? Oh, he was very full of bounce on that final tumbling pass, and unfortunately ended up just pinging off the floor. It can happen. That's regrettable, because there was no doubt that was getting better and better as it went on, that routine from Christensen. Hands going down. One shot, Miguel Besana on the horizontal bar. Gymnast from very close to the capital city of his country, right on the eastern border with it, Pasig City. Got some well-performed catch-ups. Lovely pirouette, that was pretty. And very securely up into the correct handstand position. Slightly less so there. Ooh, worried about the impact on his legs with that dismount, because it very much seemed to be one of those ones where the ground found him more than he found the ground. But good layout, Kachev. Straddle variation was precise. Good clearance. Gymnasts have got to go for those straight arms when they re-grasp the release skills. Can lose a tenth, can lose 3/10. Yes, there was, the right leg was verging on being straight, and that's never a nice thing to see when a gymnast comes into land. It seems okay. The weight goes on. The score is in. 12 for Juancho Miguel Besana. Just one rotation left for him. He'll head to the floor exercise to complete his competition. A score of 10 exactly for Fredrik Christensen. 7/10 of penalties to the gentleman who was overjoyed at the close of his horizontal bar routine, Oliver Cable. He did win the silver medal on floor at last year's Danish Championships. Now it's a case of taking that very positive energy from the previous rotation and channeling it into what he does here. He's from the wonderful city of Copenhagen, which, if you've never had the chance to visit, I recommend you put it on your itinerary. Find a way to get there, because you won't be disappointed. It's charming. Possibly has the greatest sandwiches in Europe. They're very proud of it too, with just cause. Oliver Cable on the floor for Denmark, and he's in control early on. Form didn't quite seem as it should have been there. Fair amount of wobbling in his balance, but he holds on to it. He's certainly somebody who's very capable of strong work in a tuck position, especially when moving backwards. He also loves the occasion, and that's important as well. He likes a big stage. Quite a pronounced hop out of bounds. Other aspects of this routine looked very secure, and he definitely is at his best when he's operating in a backwards direction in the tuck position. He's got lots of energy. He can rotate around well. It's a joyous thing to see somebody who is relishing being at a big competition. And that sense of enjoyment will only grow as he can soak up more of the atmosphere of the games at large. And things like the opening ceremony are huge for that. John Romeo Santillan on the horizontal bar. Yes, he came down very much under the bar from that Kachev and has to have some empty swings to get his movement energy built back up. The execution score will be quite strongly affected. And yet he brings it back under control for a well-handled dismount. We go over to Peter Horslev, competing on floor for Denmark. We haven't had the chance to see him in competition. He's another of the alumni of the University of Copenhagen. Getting his form more under control now. Good to see. Gets a sense of steadiness in his scale. And although he was a little piked coming out of the tuck position, he delivered some stability. Lovely to see that degree of camaraderie. And wonderful that for Peter Horslev that got better as it went on after what looked like a bit of a nervy opening. But some nice gymnastics from the 24-year-old. He's from Silkeborg, which is a beautiful part of Europe. A very verdant landscape, surrounded by the largest forest district in Denmark, the city that he calls home, lakes everywhere. It's just charming. can be the case when a gymnast is quite bent over like that on the landing, but there's a bigger step forward, the hands go down. He did well to control it. 9.966 Santillan on the horizontal bar. We're coming towards the very last rotation. Over cable, 11 and a half. One last opportunity for these fans to see their teams in action in this 2-day-long team final. Peter Horslev, 11.2. Still, we have many big teams to come tomorrow across 3 subdivisions. And I hope you'll be able to join us ready and raring to go at 10 o'clock in the morning, local time here in Essen. Special bonus points to any of you who can be with us right through the whole day. And it will be worth waiting for. That last subdivision is going to be packed with global gymnastics superstars. But enough of the future. What about where we are now? After rotation number 5, Canada just ahead of Belgium, but Canada had a very good last rotation on the horizontal bar, so it wouldn't be a surprise if they extend their advantage. But Belgium over a couple of marks ahead of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, with a fair amount of daylight between 3rd and 4th place as things stand. It looks as though the Belgians are going to be the best performers in this particular subdivision, and well done to them if that is the case. Portugal, as I mentioned earlier, have faded away. They were in first place after the opening rotation. They were particularly strong on floor. Focus has to be maintained right up until the very last for all of these gymnasts. It's a long competition, especially if you're doing the all-around. It's very interesting talking to elite-level gymnasts and elite-level divers, the sort of athletes who have very stop-start competitions. They perform a short burst of intense energy, then lots of other people perform, then we come back to join them later. When you're watching the competition on television and when you're broadcasting it, as I'm broadcasting it, it all just flies by in the blink of an eye. It's packed with action. But if you ask one of these gymnasts what it feels like from their perspective, they will sometimes wryly shake their head and go, it just feels like it goes on forever and I'm always sitting around. And that actually requires an enormous amount of skill, mentally and physically, for the gymnast to not just peak at the right time of the year, but to peak at the right time of the evening. Sometimes they have extended weights. We have things like raises of the bar that go on when you have a gymnast like Keanu Skerpus, who's particularly tall. just reminds us that one person's lived experience is very different from another's. What feels to us utterly action-packed can feel to an athlete like they're barely doing anything, especially if they're only performing on one apparatus. Eric Trautwein of Paulista University, Sao Paulo State. And he will complete his qualification process on the floor. He's done all 6 apparatus. A little close to the line there, might have just transgressed. And a wildness of form, yes, that sadly sees the hands put down. The precursor of it was the legs in flight. Comfortable in the classical handstand. Capable of some very impressive twisting. And he concludes well. And that is Eric Trautwein's qualification campaign wrapped up. Well done to him, the young gentleman from Carapicuíba, which is in Sao Paulo State, one of the most densely populated parts of Sao Paulo State, which says a lot. 400,000 people. Joshua Teitelbaum from the University of Auckland. He will go to the pommel horse where New Zealand will wrap up their campaign. The University of Auckland, by the way, was actually established in 1883 as a constituent of the University of New Zealand. It was originally in a repurposed courthouse. Now it has 43,000 students. Oh, he's fighting hard. Brilliant effort. Brilliant effort. Good for him. Well, the form was not as it should have been, but the heart and determination was A++. Joshua Teitelbaum, because gravity was telling him that it was time to step off the pommel horse. And he answered with an emphatic, "Go away, gravity, I'm not done yet." Great determination. There we go. Very interesting what we were just talking about, the perception of time for an athlete compared to us as a viewer. 11.166 for Trautwein. Now, this could be rather fun. Keanu Skippers. To the horizontal bar, the young Belgian goes. The silver medalist at the Junior European Championships in Italy last year. You saw him on the parallel bars with his lovely form, his good clean lines, his elegance. Now watch him here and enjoy. Secure straight Kachev. The straddle Kachev with nice extension of the arms. Right up into handstand, nice little detail. He's good to watch, isn't he? He's very good to watch. Keanu Skippers of Belgium. Lovely, precise young gymnast. He's got that wonderful combination that one loves to see of elegance and power. At times he looks strong as an ox, at times he looks like a ballet dancer, and often at the same time. Not that ballet dancers aren't strong as an ox, by the way. It would be ridiculous to suggest anything otherwise. Real up-and-comer. Watch him carefully. Watch him very carefully. Logan Curtis will finish his campaign on the pommel horse. He's produced some very nice moments throughout this competition. Impressive youngster. The whole New Zealand team has got a sense of character to them, a sense of closeness, supporting each other. And he's looking good here. Fine effort and a good conclusion. What a nice way to depart the team final. Well done, young man. Logan Curtis of New Zealand. Looking forward to seeing how his gymnastics has developed by the time of the World Championships in Jakarta, because doubtless this will make him feel more confident. It's important to feel like you belong on a big stage, and you only feel like you belong on a big stage if you get the chance to be on the big stage. Joshua Teitelbaum scores 10.533.
Yeah, you were going like so heavy. I was like, oh, stop pushing it. Yeah.
On floor, Diogo Soares.
Und jetzt der drittplatzierte im Wettkampf nach 5 und 6 Geräten, Diogo Soares, Brazil.
All-around bronze medalist at those Youth Olympic Games in Argentina. Good first tumbling pass, plenty of amplitude. Into the Thomas flares. That is an impressive performance from Diogo Soares. The Brazilian going for a place in the all-around final. 24 strong final, maximum 2 per nation. Quite a lot of his landings were very assured, others had small adjustments. Keanu Skepa's 13.733. That is a delightful execution score. And it is the second best that we've seen on this apparatus. He's done that really impressively with a difficulty score 1.2 lower than Felix Dolce, who's just above him. Logan Curtis, 12.366. So much of Skeppers' work down to his crystal clear execution. Now Diogo Suarez, 13.366 on floor. That's the fifth best we've seen so far. And for Diogo Suarez, he is in third place in all-around qualification. It's two Canadians, William Emar and Ioannis Konopoulos, at the top of the leaderboard, then Diogo Suarez, and then Sam Mostalfi of Great Britain, followed by Patrick Correa of Brazil. That's the top five at the moment, but a long way to go until we really can be sure of who's going to make it into that final. Spectators watching on there, seeing a rather nervy moment for Thomas Rodrigues on floor for Brazil, hence their reactions, as we now go back to the horizontal bar and Senna Spaccarelli This will be the last performance for another all-around hopeful. Opens with the Jaeger somersault. Demonstrating some smooth rotation of the glenohumeral joint in the close control work. Shoulders certainly get a test on the horizontal bar when we're doing the in-bar techniques. Very assured. Great conclusion. They will be thrilled about that, the Belgian fans, as will Senna Spaccarelli. That was his release and regrasp. And then a closer look at the closer work. We are not far off the end of this subdivision, and we're seeing some very impressive last performances from gymnasts determined to go out on a high, quite literally in his case. Let's go to floor and to look at the performance of Thomas Rodrigues that I was mentioning earlier. We'll just catch up on something that took place moments ago. He's been a silver medalist at the Pan American Championships on floor. Started with a very assured opening pass. Second also displaying polish. It's been wonderful to see him back on the World Cup scene, returned this year for the first time in 4 years, competed at Osijek in Croatia, nearly made the floor final. That was the moment that provoked a little anxiety in the crowd for obvious reasons. lots of the tumbling, especially earlier on, was very impressive. .12.5 for a gymnast who is now in 4th position in all-around qualification. What a good day he's had. Kilian van der Aar, who is not attempting to qualify for the all-around final. This is just his 3rd performance. But important for the Belgian team that he really delivers on the horizontal bar. He's rebounded with great character after not getting the pommel horse routine that he was hoping for. And he floated so much through that catcher that he just lost his angle and drifted away. Certainly there was amplitude. That was marginal, almost had it. It's not been the easiest of days for the 20-year-old, but it is abundantly clear that there are some really wonderful features to his gymnastics. Technically, there's an awful lot to enjoy. When he's at his best, he's so smooth. And you feel for him, because a bit like his pommel horse routine, almost all of it on the horizontal bar has been a delight. Roared on by his teammates into the dismount. Glimpses of real excellence from Kilian van der Aar. A gymnast who said he was so motivated by watching his teammates compete at the 2023 World Championships in his home city of Antwerp. He was born in Rumst, just south of it. You really do get the feeling that this is a well-motivated, well-intentioned young man with commitment to his craft. He attends the Free University of Brussels, a Dutch and English-speaking institution in the Belgian capital. Thomas Rodriguez with a score of 12.066. That's a little bit of a case of what might have been, because it had some glorious moments of tumbling. But a full mark lost for the fall and 4/10 of penalties. A lot of love in the arena at the Rhein-Ruhr 2025 FISU World University Games, the summer edition of a wonderful multi-sport event that is a true celebration of the coming together of that which is sporting and that which is academic. The last touch warm-up process is going on. There is the gentleman that I've been speaking about throughout, who has been waiting and waiting and waiting for his chance. Wong Yuk Lam, 20-year-old from Hong Kong, China. The longest of long days to wait to get involved at the games. to actually go and do his thing, to do what he loves most, which is to get up on that horizontal bar and entertain people. Denmark will finish on the pommel horse. Frederik Christensen will get them started. Bronze medalist at the National Championships last year. He's brought under control those losses of form with, well, I was about to say with little detriment to what he's trying to do, but the dismount was not as it should have been, and I think there's a bit of debate going on as to whether he has another go at it. And indeed he will do. And it still had issues the second time, but it's about trying to get the difficulty credited. Pommel horse, the only apparatus where you can repeat a dismount in order to get credit for it. Wong Yuk Lam of the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, the first institution to provide technical education in Hong Kong, China. He has had the longest wait of any gymnast all day. It is now 9:20. It's almost bedtime, and finally he's ready to do his one apparatus. Horizontal bar specialist. He nearly made the final at the Doha World Cup early this year. He was the first reserve. Good luck to him. He must have been a bag of nerves waiting for this moment to come. Here we go. Straight Kachev. Got decent clearance. Straddle Kachev, nice. Keeps the swing going. That's lovely. Smooth, close control work. Just about keeps it going. Just about. But that was ambitious. Can he secure a quality dismount? Oh, nearly. Oh, you feel for him, don't you? Wong Yuk Lam, 99% of the way through it. What a great effort. His releases and regrasps, they were good, but it was his close work to the bar that showed a real sense of accomplishment. And at the very conclusion, at the very last moment of his single routine qualification campaign, a crumpled landing, and down he went. Well, I said it was nearly bedtime. It turns out it's nearly snack time. He's earned a bite to eat, hasn't he, Frederik Christensen? He's worked really hard for his team. He's done every single piece. Oliver Cable also has performed on every apparatus for the Danes. He finishes on the pommel horse. So far, he's managing to maintain quite a straight body position. Gets a clip on that Wenderschwing. Lets him just strike the edge of the apparatus, but it doesn't deter him. And he does conclude the routine with a simple dismount. He's given us some very entertaining moments at these games. He's exuded an absolute delight in being here. And it's been matched by what the crowd has thought of him. Nothing will compare to that lovely triple back tuck on the horizontal bar to dismount. We're now with John Romeo Santillan of the Philippines. The last performance for him in his all-around quest. It's a good save considering that the form really deteriorated. It was a nervy looking moment. It was at times a bit of a struggle, but it was full of effort and determination from John Romeo Santillan of the Philippines. He's had a very busy subdivision, doing all 6 apparatus. And showing great pride in representing not just his country, but Arellano University. Closing moments of this subdivision, this entertaining subdivision. Well, we've had 4 teams plus 2 delegations competing not fully in the team competition. The Danes actually joining them, if you will. They start as a full team, but Peter Horsted not able to compete as much as he was hoping. I'm glad he's enjoyed the experience, Won Yuk Lam, because he's very stylish gymnast on the horizontal bar.
Für die Österreichischen.
Shame that he had that problem with the landing. 10.4 for Oliver Cable. He certainly enjoyed the experience, as had the New Zealand team sitting alongside the Danes. A lengthy journey. He's the top performing Dane, by the way, Oliver Cable. Currently 14th in the all-around standings. As things stand, Juancho Miguel Besana, the other all-arounder from the Philippines, is in 13th place. Just one above Cable, but we have so many big performers still to come tomorrow. 10.4 for John Romeo Santillan. That has him position 17th in all-around qualification. And we're now at the point where we can begin to bring you some clarification. So, Canada, the strongest performing nation in the team competition so far, with the Belgians behind them in 2nd place and the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland in 3rd position. The Canadians then, the winners on day 1, they are still the nation to beat going into the remaining 3 subdivisions, and it remains to be seen who can do it. And it will be great fun discovering. But what a fascinating day it's been. 2 big subdivisions of team qualification or team final action, individual qualification, plus a first subdivision of the day that was solely for the individuals. Much more still to come tomorrow, and I hope you'll be able to join us for it. It starts at 10 o'clock local time. We'll be with you 5 minutes before that to preview all of the action that is to come. But now, instead of looking forwards, we'll look backwards for a moment and bring you some of the best of the action of the first day of artistic gymnastics at Rhein-Ruhr 2025. So from me, it's goodbye, but not farewell.